Well, one thing that exists now that didn't exist even 10 years ago is social media with Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Instagram and everything else that might come along. Pardon me. Dave Stryker, how has Facebook impacted you in terms of reaching your audience?
I spend too much. It's an easy way to waste time. But yeah, it's for me when first of all, putting something out, I'm passionate about the music, and I'm proud of, I want to get my music out there. So this latest project is something that I'm really feel strongly about on a musical level, and for me that's how I've kept making a living at this business. One of the ways is by continuing to document my music, get it out there, and then try to get gigs behind that, and work it for a year or so, and then come up with something else I want to put out there that I feel musically, and keep it going. And that's just been the way that I've done it with whatever record came out. The last record I did was my Blue to the Bone band with like a horn section, and it did pretty well. And I was able to book some gigs around that and some festivals and things like that. So it's you can't just say, Jim, you got it. I mean, it has to be, you got to have some kind of put an effort in yourself. So whatever it is, I use Facebook. I just post gigs on there mostly, and information about upcoming like this new project. I put up the cover and a little making of video that my son helped me produce, and to keep the buzz going a little bit. And so that's what I use Facebook for. I try to stay out of any kind of controversy, because I'm not a controversial guy. At least on Facebook. Yeah.
Okay, well, Dave Whitebread Stryker, that's what we're going to call you. Janice, how have you utilized social media to build your audience?
Well, very much the same thing that Dave is talking about. It's a wonderful way to reach folks, if you will, all over the world. The more friends you have and the more friends... The more directions your friends go in, the greater the ability to, if you, as you says, keep the buzz going. I like it because it's so instantaneous, meaning you can put something up and immediately you start getting responses about it, and people share that with their friends and so forth and so on. That said, I'm pretty old school about the whole. How do I say? I remember the days when Miles Davis had that mystique, and that was like kind of the definition of what the artist was. And I often think about, how would Miles be handling himself these days with social media? And it always, I kind of always find myself going between the two. There's this balance that needs to be achieved between getting your work out there and creating buzz, but still maintaining some semblance of privacy personally. So I tend to keep it to come at it totally professionally, and I don't get involved in the more personal aspects of my life or my personality. Although my younger students and younger listeners are all over that. They crave more and more information about you, and it's very unsettling, to say the least.
Yeah. Well, PJ, how do you position yourself in social media? You're in a different place. You're trying to build your audience.
Right.
How do you do that?
Well, first of all, I pretend I know what I'm doing, and then secondly, one of the things that I was told about social media is your followers want to think they know you personally, but you don't want to actually give them personal information. So you post things like you post gig information, obviously, and then post a book you're reading or something about jazz or something like that, and then they think, hey, you know, I mean, not that anybody cares what I read, but hey, PJ is reading this, and then I'll go read that, and that means, you know, PJ and I have something in common, and you know, that generally works better if I was somebody like Pat Metheny doing that. You know, you want to feel like you and Pat Metheny are best buddies because you've read all the same books and everything, but he's not really putting out personal information, you know, really personal stuff. So it's an interesting balance of you put stuff out there that your audience perceives as personal, you know, but it actually is still pretty guarded. You know, it's an interesting scenario.